Hey, Shalom, Israel. First off, I would like to say, Call Halal, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashem, Rakakodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me. Also would like to say peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the Akim, that's pushing his word in all sincerity and faith throughout the four corners of the earth. For the few sisters that watch and sincerely believe, Shalom to you as well. Just in the height of the COVID-19 crisis in pretty much Great Babylon, America, being forced into lockdown mode throughout the different states. The prophets have always come in the spirit to prophesy of these things, because like it tells you in Jeremiah, the 28th chapter, it says the prophets before thee prophesied against great kingdoms and against great countries of war, of evil, and of pestilence. So, of course, we know there's wars and rumors of wars. We know that there's a lot of evil that's happening, and evil means bad times. And this whole COVID-19 situation, that's just pestilence or a plague that the Most High has used in the form of a pandemic, you know. So these are just different ways that the Lord is bringing the imminent collapse of Great Babylon, man. And if you're a prophet, if you proclaim to be a man of the Lord, you're going to be in that stead prophesying of these things. You're going to be a prophet of doom, like King Donald J. Trump proclaimed the true prophets to be. So without further ado, you got a lot of false shepherds out there that are not properly guiding the flock, man. They're not warning our people of the wrath that's to come, you know, and ultimately how all of these things that are happening now are going to lead everyone to accept the mark of the beast, which we understand is the RFID microchip. But before I go on, because right now, you know, I was doing some shopping today, and pretty much, you know, I was able to get everything that I needed, but a lot of stores, aisles, they're missing a lot of different things, man. So people are still in that mode of just hoarding things up. I believe here in Dallas or Fort Worth, they have set a limit to the amount of like toilet paper and things like that you can get. But a lot of the food on the shelves is just completely gone. A lot of things are not there. But this is just the build up process to a famine, I was thinking, man, because really when these trucks stop rolling into these stores, man, these people are going to lose their damn mind, man. And all of that's on the table at this point, because I believe Dallas is finna follow suit along with the rest of the other states that have went into stay at home or stay home and shelter or whatever the case is, basically the beginning stages of martial law. But I'm going to just read a few scriptures. Hopefully this will edify. This is Jeremiah 14 and 15. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. So you got a lot of false prophets out there that are Israelites. You got some even calling themselves Israelites and have the actual name of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah, you know, but they're not coming in the right spirit. They're not coming in the right spirit to warn the Most High's elect to repent while there's time of grace. They're not coming in the spirit to condemn this place and really cast the shadow and expose the truth of the scriptures concerning the things that's about to touch Great Babylon, concerning the sword, concerning the famine. But it says, by sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. So a lot of you false prophets out there, chiefly among the house of Israel, because judgment is going to begin at the Most High sanctuary. You're going to be consumed by sword and by famine, man, you know. So that's kind of the spirit I want to speak on, you know, in this lesson, just kind of going into the famine aspect of it. Of course, we know everything that the elites of Esau Edom is doing is to fulfill the New World Order enterprise by having everyone accept that RFID microchip. But there's going to be famine along the way, because that's what bugs people out the most, to where people are going to rebel. And then some people are just going to be complicit because they want to keep a somewhat comfortable state of living. So they're going to be all with taking the RFID microchip, you know, just going back into problem, reaction, solution. You know, these people are going to be willingly ready to accept whatever the government provides to them, just so they can have a somewhat normal a way of daily living, to be able to ultimately feed their flesh. Because, of course, people may be bored and start to get depressed and feel some type of way about not being able to go certain places anymore and having to be confined to the house. But as long as these peons have something to fill their belly in the internet, man, they can deal with it. But once those things are taken away, namely the food, you ain't gonna have the ability to feed your belly anymore. Then that's really gonna show the true character of the people. And I got to get this real quick. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. I just can't avoid it. It's just been coming out so much lately. And even just speaking on to what I just learned about Dallas County today, just following suit with the other states and doing the shelter at home, which is going to pretty much be the leading stages into martial law. Because once these trucks stop rolling to where it may only be a very limited supply of things at the store, to where people are going to be in the stores just causing riots and looting. They're going to have the National Guard or some type of military presence to guard these stores and businesses that have essential items that people are going to be fighting for, man. So pretty much with that whole home and shelter order, that's pretty much the beginning stages of martial law, which a lot of these guys, a lot of niggas have scoffed at Great Millstone on over the years, man, along with us proclaiming that the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. But before I ramble on, I'm going to read this. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So that sounds like martial law, having a curfew set to where you can't be outside past a certain time unless you have a legitimate reason. I believe they opening up the ways for people to go to work and to just make essential trips. Basically, if it's non-essential trips, then you shouldn't be out. You should be at home. So this is the beginning stages of martial law. You ain't gonna just be able to get up and go here or there. It says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And we know that America is a very proud nation. Of course, the rulership that's in power, that's the proudest nation of people on the planet. But that pride has leaked into the citizens of this place. Even you got Israelites that are proud as hell as well, man. So because of the pride, these cities going to be troubled and the houses shall be destroyed, and grown men shall be afraid. So a lot of these men, who are bitch made and really are not on the level that the men of the Lord are on as far as understanding and weighing the gravity of what's happening right now, they're going to bug out during these times, man. A lot of these women, they're going to come from under these dudes, man, when they really show who they are, when things really start to hit the fan. When these dudes going to be perplexed, not having any foresight of which way to go. It says, a man shall have pity, a salakia. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And here's the point that I want to get in this lesson, man. All of these different things that's happening right now with this pestilence, with this COVID-19, is going to ultimately lead to the famine. It's going to be a lot of different just levels. Of course, the final play of prophecy, I believe, through the Spirit, is making the RFID microchip, the mark of the beast, mandatory for all citizens. But these are just build up steps along the way. The martial law, the pestilence, of course, that's guiding in the martial law. And then the fact that America, this economy is bottoming out, which is going to ultimately lead to famine. It ain't going to be a supply of daily essentials as this thing just continues to play on, man. And people are not going to have any pity on their neighbor. It's going to be a real purge on the take spirit. People going to be robbing old people, elderly people. If they see that they got something that they need, women are going to be very vulnerable at this time, man. Just anybody that's perceived to be weak out there, they're going to get conquered in the time that we in, man. So that's just the time that we in right now. because famine, it really makes people that could be perceived as so-called good people do things that are outside of their normal character or element, man. You know, having to sit and as a man watch your children go without food and starve, that can make people do things that they typically wouldn't do. And that's the time that we're coming into, man. Because that's a very cruel way to have to suffer through famine. Of course, there's other ways that the Most High can have you suffer, but a famine, just being without food, starving, that's just a long, just drawn out process, man. And no one really wants to have to go through that. That's why it's going to get ugly around here, man. Once Esau makes these certain essentials and resources unavailable to the general public, I'll say it that way. This is Lamentations 4:9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. So it's better to get slain with the sword, because if you get shot or maybe stabbed up, that seems to be a quicker way to go back to the spirit world, rather than just pining away without food, just watching your body pretty much just eat away itself, man. All of your fats inside of your body just eat themselves away, just lying there in just a weak state, with a spirit still in your body, man. That's just a torturous way to have to deal, if the Most High has it set for you to die that way, man, being slain with hunger. So that just shows the importance of getting your daily bread, man. And when that is not going to be readily accessible to these people, man, these people are going to lose their damn mind, man. It ain't going to be no regard for anybody, in the times that we coming into. It's going to be a real scary place. Really, of course, we men of faith, we understand that having certain things like non-perishable items and water and things like that, it's not going to ultimately save us. But be wise, man. Understand the times that we in. If you have the ability at this time, man, go get you a few things to last you a few weeks or such, to where you ain't gonna just have to be out there bad like that, because these people are about to lose their damn mind, man. When you can't feed your belly, man, people go completely in panic mode. And America is the greatest consumer, greatest rate of obesity in this country, in the whole world, man. So once these people are not going to be able to put something to their mouth every hour or two, man, they're going to completely lose it, And that's just beautiful, that the Most High has it set up like this at this appointed time. It was something else I think I wanted to get. I think it escaped me. Salaki Akim. Yeah, because I had quoted earlier, but I didn't want to misquote it, that you're going to have some prophets out there, which they're false prophets, but they're not really prophesying of the things that's actually happening on the earth right now. For whatever reasons, whether they clout chasing, whether they want notoriety and they want followers on social media, but not really willing to just stand and tell people the true life, the skinny of what's going on in the earth, even though the Most High is making it apparent what's going on in the earth, man, And we're only just starting to see just a little inkling of what the Most High has to offer as far as the beginning of sorrows goes, man, So things are going to get a lot worse, even though a lot of these bug outs think this is just a phase and that their lives are going to go back to how it was before the whole COVID-19 pandemic. That's not going to be the case. This is going to pretty much be a paradigm shift. No one's lives from this point on is going to go back to being the same, even if they so-called come up with a vaccine in 2 weeks or whatever, man. Esau already has it open to where he can come with some other agenda, to have the people scrambling again, because he already is using this situation as an experiment, man, as a social experiment. But the prophets have been warning. That's the point. The true prophets. And also, too, that's being made apparent as well. Even though I know Great Millstone, for example, over the years, starting with the apostles, the elders, and the men throughout the order who came up, through the YouTube era, they've been out there prophesying and condemning this place, man, and saying that the things that are happening now, that they were going to happen. And people just waved their hand, scoffed, mocked, talked all kind of shit, But now people are having to consider, like, man, these dudes, they it was something to that. And a lot of brothers going to be starting to get hit up by different people along the way who doubted and probably talked all kind of mess about us, man, because that's another truth that's being made apparent in the earth as to who the true men of the Lord are, the true prophets, man. While a lot of these other camps are playing games and just clout chasing and doing all of these things that are going to come to naught. This is Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets that came before us, man, they were in the same position in lot that we had. They were prophesying against great countries and against great kingdoms, man, of war, of evil, and of pestilence. And that's what's going on right now, the beginning of sorrows, which all of these things is going to lead up to World War III, which is going to bring the ultimate destruction of Babylon the Great, as is prophesied in the scriptures. And also we understand that the deliverance is going to take forth out of Babylon. So that's what the elect of Israel is banking on, man. So just as the prophets before us, even going back during the time that Yahweh Shah was on the earth, when his disciples and his apostles were sent out, preaching and condemning the Roman Empire at that time, that was known as an act of treason. So it's the same position for the men of the Lord who are condemning Great Babylon, America, man. We're considered committing an act of treason, which is punishable by death. So that's why we understand that we make our bodies a living sacrifice by doing what we do. But that's an indication. That's a great indication that we're the true prophets of the Lord, man. And since all of these different prophecies that the men of the Lord have been through the spirit of the scriptures bringing out week in and week out, they're starting to come to pass. People are having to consider that fact, whether they like it, believe it or not, man. So brothers, just take heed to what's going on. Just stay prayed up. Just stay locked into the power source. Just really pay attention to what's going on. And throughout all, we always have to just continue to do those self-examinations of ourselves to make sure that our mind is right and that, we're doing we're putting our best effort forward to get those tender mercies of the house of David. So with all being said, hopefully this made sense and edified. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings to the elect.